So I'm the Builder Investor. Welcome back to the Builder Investor podcast. Today I've got what I consider an extra special guest, guy that I've been following for quite a long time, pretty much since I started out in property. So a guy named Paul Stapleton. Paul's here with us now. If you just want to give us a little bit of background into how you come to get in property and what you do now and where you are at the minute.
So property is one of those things that I've always watched and liked the look of. Never really known what my avenue would be. I'm not hands-on like you. So I know I wanted to get into property, but I didn't think being a landlord was the route for me. Mm-hmm. So my background is sales and business mentoring.
Right, okay.
And I was actually employed by a property company to come in and train their staff on sales.
Right.
So the more I learnt about the product, what that they were doing, the more I realised, this is quite a cool way of being in property but not having to buy it, so profiting from it. And that was deal sourcing.
Right, okay. So, let's go back a little bit further then. What was Paul like as a kid? I take it you're from down south, obviously. So
yeah. I'm just I'm about 10 miles from central London, so I'm born and bred in London. Yeah. So what was I like? Entrepreneurial, I would say. So I've worked from the age of 12. Started off working on a Saturday on the market stalls, and just always was about money. I just wanted to earn money. I wanted to have my own business. My dad had a restaurant, so from about the age of 14 I was in the restaurants every weekend. So I wasn't the kid that grew up going to the pub every weekend. Like Thursday to Sundays I was working. Which was great because from a young age I'm learning what I see as life skills and also transferable skills, such as like how to actually communicate with people that aren't in your generation. I think that's
that's lost nowadays, isn't it?
They can't even communicate with each other, so trying to communicate with someone older is tough. But problem solving, time management, all of those skills that you need in business, I was learning really young. It's the
kind of stuff that they don't really teach you in school, is it? The education system, in my opinion, is almost a little bit flawed.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that things like managing time, just being able to catch a buzz, or understand how to vote, you open a bank account, it's simple things like that you don't get taught now in the education system. Well, you never have really, so.
No, but I'm a firm believer in self-education.
Mm-hmm.
But my eldest daughter, she had quite a rough time the first 2 years of her being in school, and we decided to take her out and put her into private school. And I was always against like the private route. I thought it was a waste of money. But you saying all those skills aren't in the school system, they're not in the state school system. But one thing I liked when we went on the tour around the school was that they had these 8 pillars of what the school stood for.
Right, okay.
Problem solving was one, entrepreneurship was another, teamwork was another one, and it was all the things that I'm aligned with, which then made it probably one of the best investments that I have right now with my kids going there.
I suppose it goes back to the old rich dad poor dad thing, isn't it? It's kind of how the rich almost educate their children into being entrepreneurial and buying assets. They have the stuff that we learn when we come into this industry, kind of thing. So
you can definitely see the way that the school is positioned and the way that they are educating the children. They're future business owners. They're not what we're programmed to be, which are like the good little 9-to-5 workers who do as they're told and get the job done and go home. These kids are going home and they're doing piano lessons and violin. Like they're working hard right now, and like they're exceeding all expectations, which is obviously great. It's also the people that they're around as well. Like it's made me up my game. I feel like the poor uncle at a wedding there. So it's made me up my game massively. So it's an expensive investment, but also a good investment personally and for the kids.
Brilliant. So tell us about your business model then, because I know that it differs quite, it's not the same situation as most deal packages, is it? I know you specifically go for tenanted properties, which is something that a lot of people just don't want to get involved in with, because of the hassle. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So I think coming from sales and business, I look at things in a analytical way, and I dissect them. And I'm not really interested in the noise and the trends and what's on YouTube, so I don't really follow that. I'm looking for problems. I'm looking for what my competition are doing badly, and then I'm looking to create solutions. And I think my first year in property, I realised that all of the stock that I was looking for, which were vacant properties and stuff like that, that it was selling instantly.
Yeah.
But the stock that kept coming up that wasn't shifting were tenanted properties. So I wanted to understand, why is it not shifting? And typically my understanding was that agents were trying to sell them the same way as they were selling residential property, which they're very different products. You can't sell them the same way. So
quite niche, aren't they? There's a specific demographic that's going to purchase that kind of property.
There is. And also if we think about like the person that you're dealing with, like a homeowner occupier is super motivated to be accommodating for lots of viewings and stuff like that. Your tenant has all of these fears, especially because communication with tenants is quite bad. So the tenant's thinking, am I going to get kicked out? Who's going to be buying the property? Are they going to push up the rent? Like, they've got all of this fear of the unknown, but that isn't managed correctly. It's almost like, you're irrelevant, let us in your house, we need to book loads of viewings. So I realised that actually the tenants are the most important part of the success of this property selling, because if they give a bad vibe off to a potential buyer, then you've lost that buyer. And they would constantly be listing like all the things that were wrong with the property that the current landlord hadn't done, and like you just saw potential buyers walk in and walk back out. So it was a case of understanding how to build a service around that. And the thought process was, there's an abundance of stock, it's a problematic property that agents have. So if we can build that service and help agents, we can basically be in a position where agents are just bringing us the properties they don't want to sell. And that's what we built.
Sounds like, well, it's obviously worked for you, because you're here sat now and you've made a substantial company from it. So I take it you've got a team now. It's not just you. It's
not now. So we had a big if we go back 3 years ago, we had offices in Warrington, offices in London. We were getting ready to get an office in Lincolnshire and also in Durham. We had a team of 14 people, but it didn't work as good as when I had a smaller team. I felt my time was managing people more. So we actually, instead of having everything in-house, it was more cost effective and productive to outsource certain aspects of the business. So we outsourced the sales progression, we outsourced the selling of the deals, and all we did was just source the deals. And I did that I do that with a team of like 2 to 3 people.
So it's almost the go slower to go faster kind of
approach. I just think it wasn't good for my business model. But the thing is, over the last 2 years, my business model has been hit a bit harder, because if we look at how valuations work now, if the same house is being sold on a residential mortgage in comparison to it being sold on a buy-to-let mortgage with a tenant in place, the valuers are valuing them very differently, because it's based on affordability. So we're doing a lot less deals at the moment, because you just can't predict what the person on the day is going to value that at. And we went through a period where we had 11 consecutive down valuations where the deals collapsed. We lost 147 grand in commission. So I've had to pivot my focus on the business away from doing solely property to going into the event space, going into the education space. We've got a clothing brand and stuff like that. So I've diversified my portfolio of businesses now.
That's okay.
Until the market settles and we have a bit more kind of clear vision on, okay, this is how they're being valued, and if we think it's going to be valued at 100 grand, it will not. it could be 100, it could be 90.
Yeah, so you've got a more realistic view of what the expectation is, basically.
I mean, like, the easy thing, most people say, well, why don't you change your business model? Instead of doing the tenanted stuff, why don't you just do vacant stuff? Well, that would involve me creating a whole new client base to what I already have. Now going
starting from scratch, I suppose.
I don't have the time, want, or even passion to do that right now because I'm enjoying the other aspects of our businesses.
So obviously you've got the deal packaging company that you've been. I take it that's been running for quite a while now.
6-7 years now.
7 years, and then obviously the way I've come to know you really is through your events, and your social media. Obviously, I've explained to you that you and one of your business partners, Aaron, were pretty much the first. When I started in that journey of finding people in property to be influenced by or educated or whatever it is, you and Aaron were pretty much the two first people, because I didn't initially start looking for property. I just started looking ways to improve business, ways to do better in business, and Aaron's right at the forefront there, and shouting as loud as he can, telling you to leave your
flexing,
job.
Flexing all the time,
So you were like the two first people that I came across, and that's why I've kept in touch, kept following you. But obviously, your event stuff, we've just been talking about it just off air. It's some of them are absolutely amazing, and it's I feel privileged to attend some of them. So do you want to explain a little bit? Obviously, you've got two sides. You've got the Manchester Connect, and then the side that you do with Aaron, the event stuff. And
we've got three, because we've got the summit as well.
So has Aaron nothing to do with the summit then?
No, just peak performance.
Peak performance.
Yeah. So coming from my dad's restaurant, hospitality, I've got that skill set on kind of putting on a good show, organising all of that.
Definitely got the food down to a T, mate. The food's always amazing.
Food is everything. I come from a Lebanese background, so my grandparents are Egyptian, my mum's Cypriot, so growing up, food is life.
Well, I go to a lot of events, obviously, because I'm still now relatively new, to this space. It's like I'm coming up to my 3rd year. Obviously, construction, I've been doing it my whole life, pretty much, 30 years. But I go to a lot of events, and there isn't many that can touch yours in the way of the food and the actual whole ensemble of
experience. No, it's always been something that we've pushed, like good food, just making the experience memorable. Because too many events, you come away feeling deflated sometimes, especially if you've been sold to all night and stuff like that. So again, it's like looking at what is working and what isn't working in events, and then building the event that is the solution to that. So the first events business that we built was with Aaron, which is peak performance events, and we built that purely focused on business and entrepreneurship. I'm trying to be that advocate out there to say property is a business, and it's great going to property events and learning about all these new strategies and everything like that. But to scale that as a proper business, you need to learn about business, you need to learn about finance, marketing, branding, social media, all the other elements. So we decided to build Peak Performance in London, 200 to 250 entrepreneurs, every single event, some of the biggest speakers in the industry. And the great thing about that is it kind of worked quite well for my property business, because I was looking for busy working professionals in London that wanted to invest up north. These people typically wouldn't be at your local networking events.
Yeah, I think a lot of people make that mistake, don't they, within property. The first hurdle they come across is finding investors, and obviously then finding properties, good deals. And a lot of people will go to networking events, and if there is someone there with money,
they're mobbed.
They're going to get mobbed. Yeah, they will. They won't make it known, kind of thing. No. So, and everyone's looking for the same thing at that event. So,
if you think about, obviously, the time this is being recorded, we had the event in Manchester last night, and if you think any investor that attended that event last night was going there to be educated, effectively to not have to use me.
Yeah, to invest themselves.
Because they want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
The ones that would want to use me are the ones that are busy in their business, that have surplus of cash, that want to invest but don't have the time, want or need to understand how to do it themselves. So you've got to go to the events that you think they would attend. So Peak Performance was a great outlet for us to stand on stage and say, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is who I help, it's the service that we provide. And we would get an abundance of our ideal client. The biggest problem I had was trying then to get people in property to come to a non-property event. Even though I was selling them the benefits, this is where the investors are. You need to come here. They couldn't warrant A, paying a higher ticket price for a London exclusive event, £60, and B, just processing that, but this isn't about property. So that's when I decided to partner with YPN, and we created the Property Entrepreneur Summit, because what it meant is we could do property in the day, entrepreneurship in the afternoon. So it was almost like that taster of what it could be like, and people came with the kind of intention that I'm really going to enjoy the morning. We've got Simon Zucci, we've got Rob Moore, we've got Jamie York, we've got all these big speakers, and then I'll see what the afternoon's about. But then they would come out of the afternoon going, who was that Daniel Priestley guy? Who was James Sinclair? And the highlight for them was the second part of the afternoon. And now we've got them having the taste of, business is good.
I think it's lacking within the educational space in property. There's a few that advocate business. There's obviously you, Jamie, who basically mentored me, advocates that,
You've got Dan Hill as well.
Danny. There's a few out there that are good business people. But that's one thing that I struggled with was, well, you'll see me now sitting in my scruffs. It's kind of that transition from being a tradesman to a businessman. It's massive, especially when you've done something for your whole life. Changing that mindset is.
But you don't have to be good at at everything as well. That's the thing. Like you need to learn about it and identify what hats are going to be in the business, and then you just have to work out what hat you want to wear that you think you're good at, hat that you enjoy doing as well, and then outsource or employ to fill the rest of those spots. Like you might be great on the tools but not good on the books, so you employ someone to do the books. Or you might be better being the person who's out there winning the business as like a business development manager, being the guy that goes to all the houses. So, and you've got to wake up and enjoy what you're doing. Like I'm a true believer, like for me, there are certain job roles that I could outsource at a much cheaper rate, but I actually enjoy doing them. Like the graphic design stuff, like everything to do in my businesses, I design. So all of like the design work, the tiles, like everything is all done by me because I enjoy doing that. I could pay someone to do it and buy back my time, but
I enjoy the social media aspect. I really do love it, and it's something really that I need to outsource now. Well, speaking to those two guys at your event yesterday, I will contact them at some point, because they kind of blew my mind a little bit. So some of the stuff that's happening in the background, and it obviously, again, they're not really much to do with property.
No,
but it all fits in. It meshes in so nicely that it's part of business. Yeah.
No, it's good.
Yeah, amazing. So where do you see yourself heading then? Obviously, you've got this plan of where you want to go. You've just said that you've got no intention of going backwards and trying to, recreate something where you're looking at properties that are not tenanted or anything like that. What is in the future for you and you and your business partners, basically?
So property wise, very much doing what we're doing now, which is just taking on properties. Anything that doesn't work for us, we've got partners that we collaborate with that we'll pass the business over to, and we'll make a fee from that. Anything that falls in the tenanted space, then we'll sell to our investors. Not looking to scale that anymore. Where it is enough because of the amount of time I have within a week. It has to be blocked out. Education wise, we're looking to grow that because I strongly believe there's not many people out there offering the syllabus that we do, And I think we'd probably, in one syllabus, in one course, we probably have maybe 5 different courses that are built into that, but we just do it all in the one for everyone. So it's cost effective. Like, nobody can argue that we're not the best pound for pound worth of value. So building that out. The property events. So we're in Manchester right now, but the plan is to hit another city later this year, maybe London. So the business is property social events. We obviously run MCR property social. We'll look to add either London or maybe Birmingham later this year. And then with peak performance, we're halfway through building out our franchise program. So we're looking to franchise peak performance around the country for other people to host events in their area that will be business and entrepreneurship events. So it's going to be a busy year, and there's going to be a lot of growth. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of growth, but you only live once, right? And you got to go hard or go home.
Well, I've just said to you, there's no point doing anything half-arsed. If you're going to do something, you've got to put 100% into it. Otherwise, you're going to look back. If it does fail,
at least you did everything.
And you'll think, if I'd have just put that extra 10% in. If you put everything you've got into it and it does fail, it's then a lesson, for whatever comes next, kind of thing. So
for me, it's one of those that, like, it's a representation of your personal brand. So all these different businesses you have, if you're going into them half-hearted, then it's affecting what people perceive and have, like, the opinion they have of you right now. So, like, the Manchester event, it was our first event as a bi-monthly event. We've run 3 kind of independent events in September, but it was our very first event, and people would be happy to have 50, maybe 60 people at their very first event. That would be an acceptable amount. But for me, anything less than 100 was not going to be acceptable. So I have high expectations, high targets, and we didn't set on
failure then? Because obviously it's something else I also struggled with, because of my age. I just thought that there's no way I can fail now because I can't go back to the beginning. But having come through a lot of education and property, watching people like you, Jamie, and all the usual suspects, it's kind of enforced into you that at some point you will fail, and you've got to kind of use that as a lesson almost to go again, kind of thing. You've got to be okay with that. And
I think failure is final. I think failure is when you give up. I think for me,
you're not failing if you carry on.
I think failure is I've given up, and that's like the nail in the coffin. If you're not making mistakes right now, you're not taking risks, you're not growing.
So you're taking them as more of a setback,
calculated risk. And also, again, if you're trying things you've never done before, you can expect to make mistakes. I've said this a million times on podcasts that a mistake is not a mistake unless you make it more than once. It's just a learning experience. So something goes wrong. Maybe I never knew about a flying freehold's impact on a mortgage. Okay, that deal collapses. That's not a failure. That's not a mistake. That's just me going, okay, what do we need to put into our processes on the next deal to ensure that we check this before we take it on? So right now, anything that has even the smallest flying freehold is checked by a mortgage broker before we go ahead. Maybe anything to do with any form of like commercial around the property. If I'm unsure, maybe there's a hairdresser's. If I think that's going to impact, if we can use high street lenders to specialist lenders, and the difference is 3% on the interest rate, that's the difference between the deal working and not working. I'll make that mistake once, and then I'll know next time that I'm going to have to speak to someone before we take this deal on to make sure it's not going to impact the amount of lending. So I encourage people to make mistakes. The quicker you can make mistakes, the quicker you can grow. And if you're not making mistakes, then you're sat still and you're in your comfort zone. And as we know, nothing grows in a comfort zone. So I'm always looking to grow. I'm always looking to scale the business, because if you don't do it and you don't ride that wave, you don't ride that momentum, someone else who's under you right now is going to watch what you're doing and then they're going to come under you, and all of a sudden they'll go past you.
Leap over the top of it.
So you need to just go all in and just make it better every single time. Like this morning already, 9 o'clock, I've already had the phone call with Danielle. Let's just brain dump last night. What was really good, but more importantly, what could we have improved on? And we'll be really hard on ourselves. Like, I'll say something to you about last night and you go, didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
But I noticed that. I've already had an hour's conversation with Together Finance about what was good, what do we need to improve, how we're going to implement that into the next event. That's done the next day while it's all fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
So that's probably about an hour and a half's worth of conversation, where 12 o'clock now, it's already been done.
Yeah. So what you like? I take it you kind of educate in a similar way as a mentor as well. So you're encouraging your mentees to go out and make those mistakes in order to be able to grow as well.
To a certain extent. So the way I've built my training is not built around right, here's another example of a deal where we made, if you think about my presentation last night, it was, here's a deal that we made 10 grand on, we made 9 grand on this deal, that's great, but you're not going to learn a great deal from that.
Yeah.
So within my training, it's, okay, so here are 5 problems or 5 big mistakes or hurdles that I've had during conveyancing, and I'm going to teach you how to avoid making those in your business.
Yeah. I mean, that's the invaluable part of education, and it's being able to learn from someone else's mistakes.
100%.
So, I also think as well that there's no better lesson than making the mistake yourself, because that's going to enforce that you.
That 147 grand loss hit me hard. I'm not going to lie. That was going into Christmas, and I think the final deal that I thought was going to complete, it was like the 20th to 21st of December. And then the lender pulled that product. I don't know if you remember 3 years ago when just everything was being pulled from the market.
See, I was just coming into it then, so I won't remember things like that.
It was just awful. It's just an awful time. New Prime Minister, new government, absolutely ruined the market. And just 11 consecutive deals. We either had down valuations, or they wouldn't give us the product that they had agreed on, or they just pulled the lending completely.
They're terrible for that, aren't they, lenders? It's kind of, it's very much their goalposts, and they'll move them whenever
the
they
thing
fancy.
is, a deal can take like 3 to 6 months from agreeing to completing, and lots can happen in a market in that period. So you can imagine, like, if they've offered you 3% lending, and then in those 6 months something's happened, the war's kicked off in the Ukraine or something like that, and it's impacted the UK market, and now the product's on the market at 5%, you can probably see why they don't want to lend you it at that rate. So time kills deals in this industry.
Yeah, I've seen it happen the other way around as well, especially on social media, where you see people buy what they think is a half decent deal, and you can clearly see it's not. But they've had that time aspect. Obviously, they'll take quite a little bit longer to turn it around and refinance or whatever whatever their exit is. And because the market's gone up slightly, that's done half the work for them. They don't realise that sometimes. The market's been kind to them. Yeah. So, and it's not so good when it's the opposite way around.
I think a lot of people are desperate to spend their money as well. Like that money's burning a hole in their pocket, and I call it polishing a turd, but they'll look at a deal and they'll try to make it work, and they'll see it in a positive light, rather than, I'm not giving myself enough of a contingency here that if something goes wrong or something comes up or there's a slight delay, that's my entire profit wipe. So I'm like super strict with my mentees when we're looking at deals. It's non-negotiable outside of what works for you. It doesn't matter what the seller wants, it doesn't matter what the agent says it's worth. What matters is the price that you agree at is the price that works for you. Any deviation off of that increases the risk level.
Right, okay. So I take it then, with your education, you are the one doing all the educating, because there's a lot of educators out there that they've got so big that you see their face, they sell the product,
and then it's the
and then
mentees that are doing it.
You never really see them again, kind of thing. Though,
Yeah, it's all me right now, and I'm strict. I only work with 20 people.
See, I think that's invaluable. You know, if you're getting what you think you're gonna get, and you're working with that person, because it's a big jump really for someone to. Because education's not cheap in some instances. To put your hand in the pocket to decide to educate yourself for the better is a bit of a big jump. But to not get the person that you've put your faith in initially is a bit of a downer. I've been there, you know. I've experienced it, so that's why I say that. But yeah, it's I think that will help you sell a lot more places on your. I take it you've got a waiting list and stuff like that.
We do, and the thing is, I don't sell my course. I don't sell my training. Like last night.
Well, you don't even sell it at your own events.
No. Last night, I had 3 people come up to me and just said, "Do you do a course? Do you do mentorship? Like, I really like what you said on stage." The only thing I sell is my personal brand.
Yeah.
And if people buy into that and naturally gravitate towards me, then that's great. What I don't want to be known for is that person that's at the front of the room, hard selling people. It's not what I believe in. People need to feel comfortable when they come on board. I never want anyone to feel stressed. I probably turn away more people than I take on as well. So someone said, is there a website I can go on to look at your training? There isn't. It doesn't exist, because I don't want people to be able to buy me off of the shelf.
Yeah.
There's a process. They have to come on my free training first, which is 2 hours, so that I can get to know them on the training. They can see my style. And if they're happy at the end of those 2 hours, then again, they don't get to see what's on offer. They have to book a discovery call. And then on that discovery call, as much as they're interviewing me, see if I'm right, I'm also interviewing them.
Yeah, you've got to know in the back of your mind whether they've got a chance of being successful, or the right kind of person, because a lot of educators will just take anyone on.
The red flags for me are, I've been on 3 courses, but I've not even done my compliance.
Yeah.
So it's not the training, it's the action or the lack of action.
Yeah.
And I don't want my brand to be associated on someone's CV as to, this is why I'm 50 grand in debt and haven't done anything in the property space. So I'm interested, for me, ideally, I can help people who want to get started. That's a higher risk, because a lot of people will go, oh, it involves work. Yeah. It involves a lot of work, but you've watched the YouTube
sourcing as a job, you know. It's.
But you've watched the YouTube videos and you've listened to people say all you have to do is X to give it to Y to make Z.
Yeah.
But there's so much more involved in that. There's a lot involved in it, and there's a lot of third parties involved. There's lots of variables involved. So, lots of people that just start out have this weird illusion that it is as simple as grabbing an apple, giving it to you and making a fee out of it. Whereas I like to work with the people that have some form of existing business, done 1 or 2 deals, or done their first year's worth of trading, and they've identified the parts in their business that they're struggling on. My biggest skill set is problem solving. So I can go into that business and say, right, this is where I see it is wrong. This is your skill set. This is what we need to outsource. Let's now build and grow and scale this business. So lots of ways people work with me, but that's probably the most effective.
So going back to property, that's what we're here for, really. But obviously you're not a landlord. You don't really own any property other than what you live in. Do you see yourself ever, the money that you have made over the years, putting that into property? Do you see property as a safe bet to store your money? Because a lot of people do use it for wealth creation. And
possibly. It would have to be the right thing, and I think it would be some form of commercial it would have to be a big commercial unit with a big secure business.
What puts you off owning property then? Is it just the hassle that comes with it?
I wouldn't say it's personal to property. I would say it's what my skill set is and what I can do. Okay. So I always use the example that the typical property that I would source is 100 grand. that's generating £650. By the time you take out your mortgage, your tax, your insurance, your management fee, put a contingency budget in case anything goes wrong, you might net 250 quid. So 2.5 grand, 3 grand a month for putting 35-40 grand into that deal. Then you've got 7 grand's worth of purchasing costs, maybe with a sourcing fee and that. You've got to make quite a few years worth of profit to get the purchasing costs back first. Like lots of people say, I make £200 profit every month. You don't until you earn
you've got
that
to pay
money
that
back.
money
So,
back.
for me, if I've got 30 grand, I know what I can do if I invest that 30 grand into my business.
Yeah.
50 pounds a day ad spend would get me 3 or 4 new clients a month.
Yeah.
Which would be in the thousands of pounds worth of profit. So it's not that it doesn't work for me. I don't think if people don't have the other skill sets that I have, property works for them.
Yeah.
But I think it would need to be something special to get me to do it.
I think that the issue with property is a lot of people see as truly passive, and it's, let's face it, it's not. As it's there's work involved. Even sending them over to a managing agent.
Yeah.
There's still some
a managing agent. Yeah.
They're still going to ring you and say, the toilet's blocked. Do you want us to sort it? There's still a phone call to be had. You've still got to pay that invoice. You know what I mean? There's refinancing every so often. There's work involved. It's not passive.
I invest into property, but I don't buy it.
Yeah.
So like the talk that Saj did last night about assisted sales, that's the only way that I invest into property.
Right, okay.
But I suppose when you've done assisted sales, it doesn't make sense to go and buy property after that, because a typical assisted sale for me is anywhere between 200 and 500% return on investment. So to then go and pay to buy something to earn 7-8% gross, net maybe 4%.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's one of the best
right
deals
exercise.
I've done in assisted. I've done one assisted sale, and I've earned more doing that one assisted sale than I have with all the properties that I own. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So, which is kind of why I've moved over to developments, because it's a profit after building a product. So, and it's more of a business model than like a investment model. Are you with me? Kind of build wealth kind of thing.
I mean, I don't have the skill set you do, so your assisted sale probably involved you doing a full refurb, whereas for me...
Well, not me personally. It would have done. Five years ago, it'd have been me personally in the house and doing it, but it involves me putting my team in my build, but I understand that. Sometimes I do think it's a downfall, because if something goes wrong on a job now, I'm only too quick to think, I'll go and sort it myself, and that's bad. And I've kind of deduced that that's bad in business now.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I would have thought, I've got the skills.
Value your time more.
Yeah. My time is now more valuable in other places, and I've learnt that from the likes of you and Jamie and Danny and all the people that I've followed and listened to, and it's kind of. But it's still ingrained. After 30 years, it's still ingrained into
it's a habit, right? It'll take a while. But like an assisted sale for us, my skill set isn't building. So I couldn't go in and say, right, this is going to cost me 20 grand, because I wouldn't know. But what I can do is I can go in and I can say, why do we think this property hasn't sold? And I can work out the cheapest solution to do it to maximise the profit. So the best one we did was just putting 3 grand in to just do a light refurb. But then we made 15 grand profit.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of it's down to marketing as well, poor marketing of properties that, if you can find stuff that's... I've seen things with spelling mistakes in and just some photos with wheelie bins in front of the house.
And reflections in mirrors. And
and it's just
my wife's
marketing.
Toilet seats up.
Yeah.
I just think that is a really bad thing as well.
Yeah.
But marketing, I've sold lots of properties that have been mismarketed. Like I think one of the first ones we did in an area called Boston in Lincolnshire, it was advertised as a starter family home, but the house had 2 single bedrooms.
No, that's okay.
So it was like, well, what kind of family would have 2 single bedrooms, and straight away we know, well, this is in an area that's it's farmland, so it has every 6 months of the year it has people coming from Eastern Europe to help on the farms to do the fruit picking and packaging. So this is perfect for a house share.
Yeah.
So it was like, right, we can do this, and actually we can get higher rent because we're renting it out room by room.
Yeah.
So it is understanding how to market things as well, for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing, mate. I don't know. It's kind of difficult to know, because there's a lot of information that comes out of property. I don't know if you want to call them gurus, educators, and it's difficult for the likes of people coming into it to know whose information to take on board and what to believe and things like that. Because as you know, there are the charlatans in any industry, aren't there? So what advice could you give people to basically do some homework first before they jump in with education or with a property deal or something like that? Is there any advice you could give along those lines? Or?
Yeah, I would say you need to understand exactly what's on offer. Like you said, people buy things expecting to get you, but you're not available. It's other people. So firstly, it's understanding your expectations to what's going to be delivered. Also, go to as many places as you can to meet that person and just get a real feel for them. Find people that have been on their course, find out their success stories. If they're putting out testimonials, then maybe contact those people directly and just see how they're really getting on. Was that a testimonial based on them doing one deal, but now they're back to the day job?
Yeah.
There's loads of things you can do, but I do think sometimes you just got to go with your gut as well. And do you like the person? Do you relate to them? Are they your flavour? There's services and stuff like that I need, but if I don't like the person that's delivering that service, I won't work or invest with them, because I've got to feel that kind of synergy as well.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's not just about like, is it? It's about the kind of personality that you are. There's certain people that you will gel with and learn better from. Some people, people do. I've got an education background as well. I did teach construction, and you were taught that people learn in different ways. Some people learn kinesthetically, and some people learn by actually reading things and taking things in. So
But that's it as well. I feel like one massive problem that people have is they say, "Oh, I'm being mentored." Like you said, Jamie York, for instance, I'm being mentored by Jamie. There's a huge difference between being mentored and being educated, and I don't feel like people understand the difference. When you're buying an education course, some people think they're going to be mentored by that person.
Yeah,
that's not the case. So then they have that disappointment. Well, I thought it was Jamie delivering it, or I thought it was Paul delivering it, or whoever it might be. I thought they were going to be delivering it. So it's understanding what you're buying. I think that
comes along with personal brand as well. People, I've done it myself. You build your personal brand, and people think that personal brand is what you're selling, and it's not. It's a course that's underneath that personal brand kind of thing.
But I see it as education is a group course, or it's a digital course that you're going to do, whereas mentoring it's just me and you. It's not
almost like
it's not a group of 5 of us. It's not a group of 10 of us. That's still education, because it's like you said, everyone learns differently, so I can't tailor it to you and your business. Mentoring is me and you sat like this, understanding the ins and outs of your business, and every bit of advice that I give you is specifically for your business, tailored to that. So I think people need to understand what they're buying, what the difference is between education and mentoring as well.
Amazing, mate. Yeah, that's. I think we're getting towards 40 minutes now, so people get a little bit bored after 40 minutes. And
I should hope not.
Switching off. YouTube, mate. It's an hard one to crack, isn't it, YouTube? So, where can people find you then if they want to look into you, or maybe work with you, or get educated by
any of the platforms? Instagram, LinkedIn. Just search for Paul Stapleton.
I know you're really big on. That's the reason I came yesterday. You're really big on LinkedIn, aren't you?
I'm doing all right.
You've kind of, a lot of people struggle with LinkedIn, me included. Social media I think is quite easy. It's pretty much plug and play. If you do the basics, it's kind of, you can go wrong, but you can't, you know what I mean? But with LinkedIn, I think it's a bit of an art form. Some of the stuff that you was explaining yesterday, there's a little bit of eureka moments and stuff like that, and it's something I'm going to look at trying to utilise a lot more.
I think LinkedIn isn't for everyone, and that's fine. Same as TikTok isn't for everyone. YouTube, it's understanding, like we discussed at the start of yesterday, your ICP, your ideal client profile. If your ideal client profile are people of retirement age, then there's no point worrying about LinkedIn, because they're not going to be on there. They're not going to be actively on a platform designed for professional workers. They're going to be in Facebook. So it's understanding who you're looking for, and then working out actually what platform do I think these guys are going to be on.
Kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's amazing, mate. So I think we'll wrap it up there. If you are watching on YouTube, obviously just jump down to the bottom, give this video a like, and remember to subscribe if you want more videos. And then obviously you can catch the audio on platforms like, I'm looking for the bloody name now, Spotify, and the usual places. And that's a wrap for this one, guys. So thanks for watching. If you want to contact Paul, obviously you can get him on his Instagram or any other profile, and we'll go from there. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.